In a small, dusty village where the sun blazed relentlessly and the streets were empty after midday, there lived a boy named Leo. Everyone in the village knew him, not for his strength or his speed, but for the one thing that set him apart, his dream. Every day, Leo would sit on the old stone steps by the marketplace, gazing at the sky. He was just 12 years old, but his eyes sparkled with ambition. While other children played in the fields or helped their families with chores, Leo spent his time dreaming. His dream was impossible, or so everyone believed. Leo dreamed of flying, not just the kind of flying where you climb a tree and jump to the ground, pretending you were soaring through the clouds. Leo dreamed of soaring high above the village, feeling the wind rush past him, touching the heavens. He would imagine it so vividly that sometimes he forgot where he was. He could feel the freedom, the exhilaration, and the beauty of being weightless. His friends laughed at him. "You can't fly, Leo. You're just a kid," they would tease. Even his parents, who loved him dearly, thought his dream was nothing more than childish fantasy. "It's a lovely thought, son," his father would say, "but we have to be realistic. We don't have the money or the means to make that happen." But Leo wouldn't stop. He knew that dreams were the sparks of real change, and he believed his dream would one day light the way for something bigger. So, while others doubted, Leo worked. Each day after school, he collected bits of scrap metal, old wood, and discarded tools. He spent hours at his little workshop behind the house, tinkering, experimenting, and building. At first, it looked like a pile of junk, a collection of odd shapes and parts that made no sense. But to Leo, it was his airplane, a plane he was going to build, one piece at a time. One afternoon, after many weeks of work, Leo proudly presented his creation to the villagers. It was an odd-looking contraption, certainly nothing like the planes he had seen in books or on television. But Leo's heart raced with excitement. "I'm going to fly," he declared. The villagers gathered around, eyeing the strange machine. Some chuckled, others just shook their heads. "Good luck with that," one of the farmers said, patting Leo's back sympathetically. But Leo didn't care. He climbed into the cockpit, really just a wooden seat attached to a jumble of gears, and pulled the lever. The machine sputtered, jerked, and then nothing. It fell over, clattering to the ground. Leo was undeterred. He dusted himself off and with a grin began to rebuild. "It was just a test," he said, as if he had expected the failure. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. But then, one morning, something unexpected happened. A man in a dusty coat arrived in the village. He had been passing through and saw Leo's attempts from afar. He walked up to the boy, his eyes full of curiosity. "You're trying to fly, aren't you?" the man asked. Leo looked up at the stranger, a little wary. "I am, but I'm not there yet." The man smiled. "I know something about flying. My name is Mr. Montgomery. I used to be an engineer, and I've worked on things just like this before." He paused, looking at the machine. "I think I can help you make it work." Leo's heart skipped a beat. "You think so?" Mr. Montgomery chuckled. "With the right knowledge, a bit more training, and some real materials, you can make this dream come true. But you'll need to learn, and it won't be easy." Leo couldn't believe his ears. For the first time, someone else believed in his dream. He didn't care that he didn't have the best materials or the best tools. What mattered was that someone saw the same potential in him that he had always seen. The next few months were the hardest Leo had ever known. He studied engineering, mechanics, and aerodynamics with Mr. Montgomery. He worked late into the night, testing new designs and failing, again and again. But each failure taught him something new, and every lesson brought him closer to the impossible. Finally, the day arrived. The villagers gathered around, some out of curiosity, others with a sense of doubt. The sun was setting, casting an orange glow over the village. Leo stood beside his plane, now sleek and polished, with strong wings and a sturdy body. Mr. Montgomery was by his side, giving him a reassuring nod. With a deep breath, Leo climbed into the cockpit, his hands shaking with excitement. This was it, the moment he had dreamed about for so long. He looked down at the controls, then back up at the sky, and with a determined look, he started the engine. The plane roared to life, and for a brief moment, it felt as if time had stopped. Then, with a burst of power, the plane began to roll down the small runway the villagers had cleared for him. It picked up speed, faster and faster, and then, with a sudden lift, it rose off the ground. The villagers gasped in disbelief. Leo was flying. He soared into the sky, feeling the wind rush past him as he had always imagined. His heart pounded in his chest, but it wasn't from fear. It was from the sheer joy of realizing his dream. Below him, the village grew smaller and smaller, but Leo knew that nothing could ever make him feel as free as he did in that moment. Then, as he circled above the village, he noticed something. His plane was shaking. The wings trembled under the pressure, and a strange noise filled the cockpit. Panic set in as Leo tried to steady the plane, but it was no use. The engine sputtered, and the ground rushed up to meet him. But just before he could crash, something unexpected happened. The plane gently tilted and landed safely in a small field. The villagers rushed to his side, breathless with awe. Leo's dream had come true. But in the end, it wasn't the flight that mattered. It was the journey, the countless hours of work, the lessons learned, the failures that led to his success. And most importantly, it was the belief that no dream is too big, as long as you never stop trying. And so, the boy with a dream became the boy who made the impossible real. Here's a list of expressions and vocabulary items from the story The Boy with a Dream that learners can practice. Expressions to listen and repeat. Set apart. To be different or distinguished from others. Leo was set apart from the other children because of his dream. Spark of real change. A small but powerful idea or event that leads to significant change. He believed that his dream could be the spark of real change. Undeterred, not discouraged or stopped by something, Leo was undeterred by his failure and kept rebuilding the plane. Grin from ear to ear, a big happy smile. Leo grinned from ear to ear when Mr. Montgomery offered to help him. Gasp in disbelief, a shocked reaction, often involving a deep breath or exclamation. The villagers gasped in disbelief when they saw Leo flying. Breathe a sigh of relief. To relax after a period of anxiety or stress. Leo breathed a sigh of relief when the plane landed safely. Fail again and again. To experience repeated failures. Leo failed again and again, but each time he learned something new. Out of curiosity, doing something to find out more information or satisfy one's curiosity. The villagers gathered around, some out of curiosity, others with doubt. Come true, to happen in real life, as one hoped or dreamed. Leo's dream of flying finally came true. Come to terms with. To accept a situation, especially if it is difficult or unpleasant. Leo came to terms with the fact that it wouldn't be easy. Now vocabulary, items to listen and repeat, ambition. A strong desire to achieve something. Leo's ambition was to build a flying machine. Contraption. A machine or device that looks strange or complicated. The villagers laughed at Leo's strange contraption. Engineer, a person who designs or builds machines, structures, or systems. Mr. Montgomery was an engineer who knew about flight, exhilaration, a feeling of great excitement or happiness. Leo felt exhilaration as he soared high in the sky. Tinker, to make small changes or repairs to something, often without much skill. Leo spent hours tinkering with the parts of the plane. Contradiction, a situation where two things are opposed or do not agree. There was a contradiction between Leo's dream and the villagers' doubts. Cautious, careful to avoid danger or mistakes. Mr. Montgomery was cautious when guiding Leo through the process. Cockpit, the part of an aircraft where the pilot sits. Leo climbed into the cockpit of his plane, ready to take off. Doubt, a feeling of uncertainty about something. Many villagers had doubts about Leo's dream. Sputter, to make a series of short, spitting noises, often indicating that something is not working correctly. The engine sputtered before it finally started. Tremble, to shake slightly, often due to fear or nervousness. Leo's hands trembled as he prepared to fly. Undeniable, impossible to deny or argue against. The undeniable excitement on Leo's face showed how much he believed in his dream. Freedom, the state of being free, not controlled by anyone or anything. Flying gave Leo a feeling of freedom he had never known before. Contrary, opposing, or opposite in nature. Contrary to what everyone believed, Leo's dream was not impossible. Exhilarating, making someone feel very excited or happy. The experience of flying was exhilarating for Leo.